In the opening scene, Sung-gyu is shown asleep in bed. He's startled awake when his son Min-jun playfully approaches him with a noisy toy gun. Sung-gyu groggily requests a few more minutes of sleep, a routine he's repeated several times. Soon after, Sung-gyu, a bank manager in Busan, is called by his deputy, prompting him to start his day. He quickly gives instructions over the phone before preparing for work. While on his way to the bank, Sung-gyu decides to drop off his children, Min-jun and Hae-in, at school. His wife, Yeonsu, had rearranged her schedule assuming Sung-gyu would be occupied, but he brushes off her concern and advises her to focus on her own affairs. Upon returning home, Yeonsu discovers a package at the doorstep. In the car, Hae-in detects a strange odor, but Sung-gyu dismisses it. During their drive, Sung-gyu receives an unidentified call on a phone found in the glove compartment. Despite the hidden caller ID, he answers, only to quickly assume it's spam and hangs up. However, his attention is caught when he notices the phone's wallpaper, a family photo featuring his wife and children. Hae-in explains it's their mom's Facebook profile picture. Distracted, Sung-gyu nearly causes an accident at a pedestrian crossing while contemplating how the photo ended up on the unfamiliar phone. As they approach a gas station, Sung-gyu prepares to exit the car when the mysterious caller rings again. This time, the caller warns Sung-gyu about a bomb planted beneath his seat, insisting that leaving the vehicle will trigger an explosion. Initially brushing off the threat as a prank, Sung-gyu disconnects the call once more. However, as they arrive at the gas station, the caller rings again, emphasizing the danger of exiting and mentioning the peculiar smell in the car. Claiming control over the bomb's remote and tracking their movements through GPS, the caller threatens harm to Sung-gyu and his family if he doesn't comply. Stricken with panic, Sung-gyu realizes the seriousness of the situation, especially upon hearing the children's voices being monitored. Feeling pressured and desperate, Sung-gyu hastily pays the gas attendant extra to fill his tank, trying to alleviate the inconvenience caused to other customers. Upon resuming the call, Sung-gyu engages with the caller, seeking to understand their demands. The caller instructs Sung-gyu to check under the seat, confirming Sung-gyu's worst fear as he feels the presence of a hydraulic bomb. Shaken by the revelation, Sung-gyu speeds away from the gas station as the stranger lays out his demands: $960,000 in cash and a $1.7 million transfer to his account, threatening to detonate the vehicle. Suddenly, Hae-in notices they've passed Min-jun's school. Sung-gyu halts, preventing Min-jun from exiting, and reluctantly reveals the truth about the bomb, downplaying it as a prank. Concerned, Hae-in urges contacting the authorities, while Min-jun, unaware of the gravity, finds excitement in the unexpected situation. The stranger interjects, warning against communication attempts, affirming the immediacy of the bomb's detonation. Suddenly, Sung-gyu's deputy calls, panicked, informing he won't be able to make it to the meeting because he's been also told about a bomb in his car. Finding out his location, Sung-gyu decides to meet him. Soon, he finds his deputy, who convinces his wife to stay in the car. The woman protests, as she needs to go to work. While Sung-gyu tries to park the car without causing inconvenience to other vehicles, the deputy's wife still opens the door and steps out when suddenly. Shocked, Sung-gyu slowly drives past the exploded car, and that's when Hae-in notices that Min-jun is wounded by a glass shard. Sung-gyu rushes to the hospital to rescue his son, only to be confronted by a stranger who demands payment. The stranger threatens that unless Sung-gyu transfers the requested sum, everyone present will be in danger of explosion. To make matters worse, the demand has doubled from 1.7 million to 3.4 million, encompassing not only Sung-gyu's own portion but also that of his deputy. Sung-gyu tries to explain that he can't access such a sum right away, but the stranger suggests using the funds of his VIP clients. Realizing he has no other option, he calls his assistant and instructs him to persuade all their clients to transfer large sums to his account within an hour. The stranger suggests starting with cash. Sung-gyu doesn't understand how he'll deliver the money if he can't leave the car, but the caller suggests entrusting the money delivery to Yeonsu. Meanwhile, the police are investigating the explosion of the deputy manager's car. In the surveillance camera footage, officers notice that just before the explosion, Sung-gyu reverses, as if knowing what will happen next. Sung-gyu contacts his wife and urgently requests her to withdraw the required funds. At first, Yeonsu is confused and suggests involving the police, but Sung-gyu convinces her to comply with his request. Upon reaching the bank, Sung-gyu observes Yeonsu arriving with a friend. While his wife retrieves the money, her friend approaches Sung-gyu's car and detects his distress. Adhering to the stranger's instructions, they quickly drive away from the inquisitive woman, who then opts to alert a security guard about Sung-gyu's seemingly suspicious behavior. Sung-gyu's wife calls to confirm she has the money. The caller instructs her to deposit the funds in a nearby courier box and insists that she comes alone, without her friend. Following the instructions, Yeonsu heads to the specified location. Sung-gyu informs the stranger that his wife has arrived. Suddenly, Yeonsu notices a suspiciously tall man nearby and assumes he's the stranger. Despite Sung-gyu's reassurance to ignore him and proceed with the drop-off, Yeonsu decides to alert the police about the man, leading to his immediate arrest. In a critical moment, Sung-gyu realizes the mistaken identity, as the stranger contacts him once more, warning that involving the police will result in their car exploding. He starts the countdown, and Sung-gyu and the kids are already saying goodbye to life when suddenly Sung-gyu contacts his wife and ensures that she's okay, although the stranger clearly expected a different outcome. Meanwhile, the police are almost certain that Sung-gyu is responsible for the deputy's car explosion. Soon, they receive reports of a new incident, where Sung-gyu and his wife are once again present. He is declared a fugitive. Jun's condition worsens, and his injured leg loses sensation. Sung-gyu transfers $2.6 million to the stranger's account and begs to be allowed to take his son to the hospital. But the stranger insists on the full amount and doesn't allow them to leave the car. Suddenly, their car is surrounded by the police, demanding they turn off the engines and exit the vehicle. The stranger says they need to detach from it at any cost. Unexpectedly, Sung-gyu hangs up and, ignoring the police officer, rushes to the hospital. Police cars pursue Sung-gyu, and after a hectic chase, they corner him on the beach. The stranger calls Sung-gyu again, reminding him that if he hangs up again, the car will explode. When a police officer orders him out of the car, the stranger forces Sung-gyu to say that he planted the bomb himself and that he'll detonate it if they don't let him go. The officer doesn't understand why Sung-gyu would blow up the car with his own children inside, and then orders the police to step back from the car. Soon, a group of bomb squad and special forces arrive. The officer instructs the sniper to shoot to disable after the children are removed from the car. Approaching the car, the leader of the bomb squad is discreetly shown by Sung-gyu the call log from the unknown number, signaling imminent danger. Acting swiftly, she decides to place a radio in a bag containing water and medical supplies to establish communication with the caller. As the radio is activated, Sung-gyu initiates contact with the stranger, attempting to engage him in dialogue, but met with silence. Instead, a message is received, demanding the disposal of the radio. Sung-gyu gets rid of the radio and then carefully scans the crowd around the barrier, realizing that the stranger is nearby. To confirm this, Sung-gyu decides to honk the horn. And indeed, he hears the signal through the phone. Soon, Sung-gyu spots the stranger in the crowd, and he finally begins to tell who he is and what he wants, recalling some incident that happened 6 years ago. But suddenly the police cut off the communication, and the conversation is interrupted. Then the leader of the bomb squad approaches the car again and asks to tell what really happened. Sung-gyu informs that there is a bomb under his seat and that neither he nor the children can leave the car. He also says that the stranger is somewhere nearby and that he can explode them at any moment. The group leader claims to believe him and asks him to trust her and do as she says. The bomb squad starts inspecting the car, and the leader asks for the phone. However, Sung-gyu decides to leave the phone he used to communicate with the stranger and gives her his phone because the stranger will surely want to contact him. Soon it becomes clear that the bombs are only installed on the front seats, which means the children can exit the car. The bomb squad removes the doors, and then they discover that Jun has lost consciousness. The boy is immediately taken to the hospital, while Hae-in notices snipers on the rooftops. She refuses to leave the car, realizing that her father will be shot as soon as they release her. The bomb squad and Sung-gyu plead with her not to do anything foolish, assuring her that everything will be fine. But suddenly she moves to the front seat and activates the bomb beneath her. The leader of the bomb squad doesn't understand why she did it, and Hae-in tells her about the snipers who have her father in their sights. The group leader heads to the police, demanding the snipers be removed and the order cancelled. But the officer shows her Sung-gyu's phone and says there's no call from an unknown number, meaning Sung-gyu is deceiving them. Meanwhile, father and daughter discuss how they haven't been to the beach in a long time due to Sung-gyu's perpetual busyness. Hae-in also asks if his legs are numb and suggests he wiggle his big toes, assuring him it will help. Additionally, she suggests going to the movies next weekend, hoping they'll survive and everything will be fine. Soon, the officer is informed that Sung-gyu's brother has arrived at the scene. He allows him to talk to Sung-gyu and asks him to convince him to release Hae-in and surrender. The man approaches the car, and Sung-gyu realizes with a shock that he's not his brother, but the same stranger, Jinwoo. Jinwoo acknowledges that losing contact wasn't part of his plan, yet he expresses satisfaction with the opportunity for a face-to-face encounter. Sung-gyu, bewildered and unable to recollect Jinwoo's identity, demands clarification regarding their past. He speculates that Jinwoo lost his finances due to misplaced trust in the bank 6 years ago. However, the truth proves to be far more intricate. Observing the interaction between the supposed brothers, the leader of the bomb squad decides to verify Jinwoo's identity by contacting Sung-gyu's wife, ensuring this mysterious individual is truly his sibling. At the same time, a bewildered Yeonsu is at home, where searches are already underway. On television, it's reported that materials for homemade explosive devices were found in the suspect's house, which, as it turned out, came in that very package that the wife picked up from the doorstep in the morning. Sung-gyu pleads with Jin-woo to release his daughter and promises to gather all the money he needs. Suddenly, Jin-woo deactivates the bomb under the passenger seat, and then turns to the crowd and announces that his brother is willing to let Hae-in go. The girl finally exits the car, but then Jin-woo tells Sung-gyu to open the glove compartment. At this moment, another bomb with an 18-minute timer is activated. Jin-woo demands the remaining sum to be transferred within this time and declares that he will hold Hae-in hostage. He sets a meeting point and warns that if he tries to tell the police anything, Hae-in will lose her life. To the girl, he says that if she tells the truth to the police, her father will explode. Jin-woo leads Hae-in away behind a fence, while Sung-gyu, gathering his strength, presses on the gas and drives away. Snipers open fire on him, but he manages to dodge their bullets. Meanwhile, Yeonsu contacts the leader of the bomb disposal unit and informs him that the man speaking to Sung-gyu is an imposter, and Sung-gyu's real brother is currently in Nepal. The leader informs the police about this and demands Jin-woo be stopped. Time on the timer is rapidly running out, and Sung-gyu, without slowing down, calls his clients, but no one wants to transfer him the money right now. Then he calls the bank's vice president and asks to borrow a large sum. However, the chief declares that Sung-gyu no longer works there, and his accounts have already been frozen because he transferred $2.6 million without authorization from the management, which is now considered embezzlement. Desperate, Sung-gyu reaches out to Yeonsu, informing her of Hae-in's kidnapping and expressing profound remorse for the dire circumstances. He implores his wife to transfer the $960,000 she withdrew to Jin-woo's account. Despite police pursuit, the leader of the bomb disposal unit intervenes, urging Jin-woo to halt, assuring him they recognize he is not a criminal. However, Jin-woo's call shatters any hope of reprieve. He reminds Sung-gyu of the event 6 years prior and issues a chilling ultimatum. Only 10 minutes remain for the full transfer of the required amount. As Sung-gyu races away from the pursuing police cars, a flood of memories rushes back to him. He vividly recalls the dark truth. He, his deputy, and other bank employees had orchestrated a scheme to defraud clients. It was this deceitful practice that propelled them to achieve remarkable results and swiftly ascend the ranks within the bank. He also recalls how one of the cheated clients approached him in the parking lot, begging him to help her get her invested money back, explaining that without it her business would collapse and she would be left with nothing. However, Sung-gyu didn't listen to her and drove away. Meanwhile, Jin-woo, along with Hae-in, heads to the meeting point with Sung-gyu. Suddenly, he receives a call asking how a large sum ended up in the victim's joint account. He claims it's reimbursement for legal expenses and hangs up. Hearing the conversation, Hae-in says she's very sorry if someone suffered because of her father, and she begs for forgiveness. On the way to the meeting point, Sung-gyu notices many protest signs from companies bankrupted because of him. Then he sees his daughter with her mouth taped shut, tied to the seat in the car. Jin-woo calls him again and informs him that the amount he demands is the money victims spent on legal proceedings. He says that despite everyone giving everything back to the bank, they continued to fight. Sung-gyu, realizing the gravity of his actions, expresses his ignorance of the suffering endured by the victims of his fraud. He pleads for the release of Hae-in, emphasizing her innocence in the situation. However, Jin-woo delivers a devastating revelation. The woman Sung-gyu ignored in the parking lot was his own wife. Pregnant at the time, upon discovering the loss of their funds, she tragically chose to end her own life. In a moment of clarity and remorse, Sung-gyu confesses his guilt to Jin-woo and the other victims, seeking forgiveness for the pain and suffering they endured as a result of his actions. He humbly begs Hae-in for forgiveness, acknowledging the immense burden she bore because of him. With Jin-woo now in the car, Sung-gyu pleads for forgiveness and release, expressing his desire to right his wrongs and aid the victims. Yet, Jin-woo dismisses his pleas, declaring it's too late and condemning forgiveness as a sign of weakness. With only 50 seconds left on the timer, Jin-woo fastens his seatbelt and commands Sung-gyu to drive away if he wishes to avoid detonating beside his daughter. Despite the police in pursuit behind them, Sung-gyu disregards their presence and accelerates, determined to evade the impending catastrophe. Waking up in the water with just 20 seconds left before the explosion, Sung-gyu tries to revive Jin-woo, but he doesn't respond. Then Sung-gyu grabs a thick book from the back seat, presses it against the mechanism, and manages to get out of the car just before it explodes. The police free Hae-in and then notice Sung-gyu floating on the surface, pulling him out of the water. After some time, he confesses to his crime and sides with the victims in court. When asked by journalists if there is any remaining evidence against the bank, Sung-gyu responds that the main proof of their guilt is himself. When Sung-gyu returns home, his boss calls him, trying to dissuade him from testifying against the bank, as he's an accomplice and won't win the case anyway. However, Sung-gyu is determined not to give up and simply hangs up the phone. How would you have acted in Jinwoo's place? Would you seek revenge for your loved ones, or would you be able to forgive the con artist? Share your thoughts in the comments below, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next videos.